Otherwise, you have every right to.
That makes this happen. There's no one individual that sort of makes it. So I'm really lucky. This amazing team. Well, I think it's a good thing for anyone to talk about it, no matter what your station in life is. And, you know, for me to talk about it, a lot of people might project this image onto me that I have it all, or I'm, you know, but, you know, that sort of thing, it doesn't discriminate, you know, it gets anyone from any sort of walk of life. And it's, you know, for me, it was just talking about it sort of destigmatizes it. Talking about it for me has helped in some ways, you know, in this age of toxic masculinity, there's a lot of dudes out there that have a tendency to sort of bottle it up and keep it in and think that they've got to be a tough guy and soldier on, but that's not necessarily true.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is a surreal moment. Yeah.
I saw a text from Kunal, who's on our show, saying, "You're going to represent us," and I was thinking, what's he talking about? And then
the notion of being stigma-free, which is sort of, you know, what many of us are willing to be, is a way to try and bring education to more people, since unfortunately in this country it seems that mental health is something that's reserved for people who can afford it and not people who need it. So you know, I'm not looking to, you know, vomit my entire life onto the internet, but I do feel it's very appropriate, especially for so many young people who feel alone the way I felt alone, to talk about anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder and panic disorder and depression and all the other things that many of us deal with, you know, when we're teenagers and even when we're, you know, adults.
Brianne Hill, hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Very well, very well. Looking incredible tonight.
I think anybody talking about it will help destigmatize it over time. But I think in particular celebrities or sports celebrities, if they have a platform and they've gone through any kind of issue with mental health, it's good for them to share their stories if they're comfortable with it, because not a lot of people are comfortable, and that's okay. I think, you know, for me as a guy, you know, I struggled a long time with not only my bouts of depression that I've had, but also things that have happened to me earlier on and when I was a teenager that colored me as an adult, but struggled a long time to just express myself. Because we as men, as dudes, just typically, we have this toxic masculinity sometimes where we want to hold on to feelings and emotions like I had done for many, many years. So, you know, look, any opportunity I can to share an experience or share a little bit of insight that I've gained over the years when it comes to mental health and kind of battling things, I'm happy to share it. And if it helps out one person, it sounds very cliche, but I'm happy to do it.
I think that when we come to accept our limitations, our brokenness, we become more and more aware of each other's shortcomings and brokenness, and we accept our humanity. And I think that that's a very, very important level of communication, is to accept each other as we are and realize that we're all a reflection of each other. We all have problems, and nobody knows how to fix them. But together, we can include each other and not exclude anyone.
Well, you know, we just have to have a little more compassion. I mean, first of all, it starts with how you talk to your kids about how do you show compassion and empathy to anybody who's different than you or who's experiencing some form of difficulties, you know. I mean, you just have to have compassion for others. I think that's where it starts, and then you have to have legislation and other important things that really matter to help them get the help they deserve and need.
It sounds like Kevin was kind of prescribed a lot of things that he needed to. He was told, like, he needs to.
There's a lot of stigma in families. Many families don't want it out that they have mental health issues, and that's devastating for the person in that family who's dealing with issues. So I'm incredibly proud of my nephew and sister for the courage they showed